It's Doris with Aldi Books. I am home on a Friday reads day because we're having a southern snow day. It is so fabulous. Yes, I haven't done much of anything, just, chilling on BookTube as one does. And, I've got my James Taylor, Jackson Brown, Bridgestone Arena tickets ordered. I'm so excited. My friend that I went to see all my Jackson Brown with is coming up, and we're gonna go this summer. Yeah, life is good. And I've been reading. I'm trying to read a book a day in February, which would be 29, leap year. And I just had a shopping indiscretion at Book Outlet. Spoiler alert. I'll just stop right there with that. Anyway, so four read thus far, and it's the 7th. But like I said, I'm not working today. The life of a public school teacher is such a good one on these occasions anyway. And so I'm going to get caught up to 7 today and then try to, get ahead this weekend. Because next week, I think that I'm going to have to actually work a 5-day work week. I know, right? Okay, I'm going to shut up now because I've been running my mouth for almost 2 minutes and haven't talked about my books yet. So the 4 books that I read are all South African reads. I'm doing a South African reading project. I was doing it in the month of January. It's continuing into February because I'm not done, and I'm really, really enjoying it. So the first one I finished this week was Ways of Dying by Zake Zimda. This was like really quirky, super quirky. I enjoyed it though. It's really great spotlight on we would have called them Hoovervilles here in the States during the Great Depression. Under apartheid, the little shacks that they made out of salvaged materials in these settlements, they called them. It fluctuates between that location and back in the homeland, the villages outside of the big cities. And we have this fellow who comes to town and creates this trade of a professional mourner. And during the course of this adventure, he meets a beauty from his hometown. They're both aging adults now, not too far aging, but you know what I'm saying. They're full-on adults now and reunite and get back together. It's lovely, fun, quirky, very quirky story. But a really great spotlight on both the settlement life and the village life. And then I finished Almost Human, The Astonishing Tale of Homo naledi and the Discovery That Changed Our Human Story by Lee Berger and John Hawkes. So this is set just after apartheid, really. And it's science writing, discovering our ancestral lineage. I found it extremely fascinating. I loved the early parts where he talks about how he got into archaeology in this particular branch or paleontology. Anyway, and he talks about, being so successful through high school and getting to college and it all falling apart and him taking some time to find out what he wanted to do with his life. And I really appreciated that. But this was fascinating. And there was another part toward the end where his second major discovery was in this extreme caving situation where he was too large to fit and had to recruit a lot of doctoral and postdoc students to work with him. and they all ended up being female because of the size restrictions. And it was just, very inspiring to me. He talked about women, taking on such a larger role in his work environment, and I just really appreciated that. But this was just such a nerd out moment that I so enjoyed. And then The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind by William Kamkwamba and Brian Miller. I gotta get back in frame. This one, I mistakenly thought it was South African. It's really just Southern Africa. This one was set in Malawi, and it's about a boy who, a severe famine, really, really hard to read through, a severe famine in his village, and really rough. And how from there he couldn't continue with his schooling, and ends up, there's donated books with his school there, and he ends up reading from this library just to try to stay on top of himself intellectually. And he discovers how to make these inventions out of found and repurposed items from just that he finds in his village. And he ends up making this windmill and getting in the newspaper, and it's fascinating. And it does actually end up going back to South Africa. He wins a scholarship to a high school in South Africa, and ends up going to university in the States. I mean, it was just a lovely read. This, I didn't realize when I bought it on Book Outlet, was the Young Readers edition, but I totally didn't mind that at all. It was like the perfect amount to tell the story and enjoy it. And pictures are always awesome. There he is, graduating from university. So yeah, I enjoyed that as well. And then I finally picked up The Woman Next Door by Yewande Omotoso. This one I remember being interested in, I think 3 years ago, for the Women's Prize for Fiction. It was on the long list, and I just never got around to it. This is two octogenarians that live across the street from each other in a very wealthy subdivision. One a white woman and one a black woman, and just they're both pretty crabby, and this story was just so lovely the way the author told it. And while I don't mind reading aging stereotypes, those can be humorous, I thought it was so refreshing that she was able to tell this in just, we're all people sort of way. I appreciated it so much in that regard. You never got caught up in the fact, well, you did. I mean, they talk about, issues with aches and pains and end of life, losing their spouses, all those things, but we're all just people, and this was just enjoyable. It was just a slice of life, not really some profound ending, just living. And yes, South Africa post-apartheid played a role in it, and it was just great. Thanks so much. Tanya from Sampler Girl read that recently and encouraged me to pick it up, and I'm so glad that I did. And now I am only reading 2 books. I know, how crazy is that? Last year I got in the habit of reading 6 or 7 at a time, and I enjoy that. But this year I've been enjoying just reading a couple at a time. I think 4 at the most. with like audiobooks and things. But right now, in this moment, I am only reading Outline by Rachel Cusk, and on audiobook, Barbara Kingsolver's The Lacuna. I am mistaken. I'm also reading on ebook a book for the BookTube prize, nonfiction. So there's that. So 3, which still is not bad, 3. And I'll reserve thoughts on these for, you know, next Friday. But that's all about to explode because I'm about to start a couple buddy reads. Yes, The Last Thing You Surrender by Leonard Pitts Jr. This is for Dee Dee's hashtag Read Soul Lit this month, and I am hearing great things about it. So very excited to start. And also Bring Up the Bodies by Hilary Mantel, which is like, Hilary Mantel has been all the rage the last few months on BookTube for obvious reasons, coming in March. So starting those 2 today, as well as diving into my Memento Moriathon bingo card. I am going to work on the middle row this weekend and vlog it. So yeah, stay tuned for that. I'm going to, I think, hopefully vlog Memento Moriathon bingo every weekend in February. So I'm eager to get started and so excited that we got a snow day to just open it up with a bang. So yeah, I'm gonna film a couple more videos and then get busy reading. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll be back soon. Bye.